Hello and greetings to you, wherever you may be on this beautiful planet Earth, the third rock from the sun. I speak to you from Israel, a rainy day, wintry. The sun is attempting to shine through, but we are promised a very bright, sunny, lovely day today. This video is in the self-discovery series. I forget the number. And the title is Developing Full Potential. Developing full human potential. I know that I seem to belabor this point of developing more consciousness, developing more of our innate human potential. And the reason is I am on a campaign. With all that I have listened to and read and experienced, I am pretty well convinced that there is approximately 20% of the world population who know what's going on and want to do something about it in a positive sense. Now, 20% of 8 billion people is 1.6 billion people thereabout, which leaves the majority of 80%, which is 6.4 billion people thereabouts. Well, the 1.6 billion people are no match for 6.4 billion people. So the 6.4 billion people, whatever they decide to do, they're going to carry the day. If we're all going to stay here in this third dimensional reality on planet Earth at this time. If they decide to go in over the edge, off the ledge of the mountain without a parachute, we're all going to go with them or survive the consequences in the best way that we can. Not a pretty picture. Now, why is it that the 80% don't understand consciousness and don't understand what human potential they have? It's because it hasn't been developed. And furthermore, we have been overlaid with a programming from birth. I had this, we've all had this actually. We've been taught belief systems. Our parents, whether they were conscious or unconscious of them doing it, whether they believed in a particular modus operandi, how they wanted to live their lives, whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, it's what they believed. And whatever they believed, they imposed upon their children. You and me, we've all been subjected to that experience one way or another. So because the majority of the people have no idea what is going on beyond their five senses, and their five senses are operating at less than 5%, most people don't know anything. And yet they feel they know, and they're going to impose it upon their wife, their husband, their family, their children, whatever. The leaders of the country are going to pass laws and they're going to tell you what to do, and you're just going to do it because they know best. And the truth is, very few people know best. So my campaign is, why can't we wake up the lion and the lioness within us, each individual one of us? Why can't we know? What is preventing us from knowing more than we know at the moment? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's learned belief systems to the contrary. It's learned patterns of behavior to the contrary. And it's learned programming to the contrary. The beliefs, the patterns of behavior, the programming all came from our parents, our school system, our medical system, the government system, the leaders, the people who told us what to do. And we were often threatened into fear. And that's the way to do it. You know, you're going to be afraid. I mean, a lot of people fear God, and that's why they want to do the right thing, because they fear God. Rather than doing the right thing because of the love and compassion they have for themselves and for all of life, they do it because they're in fear of retribution by a vengeful God. Well, God is not vengeful. God is all love, all compassion. And yet people are to learn this. So how can we learn this? I'm trying to learn to look at the camera. Jeez. So many things to do. So forgive me for belaboring the point, but we are in common parlance, humanity is up shit creek without a paddle. Not very nice, is it? Forgive my language, but it explains it very well. We're in big doo-doo, because if we don't get ourselves organized, we're done for. We are experiencing perhaps the greatest existential threat ever. A lot of people don't know. They don't care. They just get up, they go to work, or whatever they do, and they suffer. So they'll smoke, they'll drink, they'll take drugs, they do what they can to escape the pain, and it kills them prematurely, not before they're suffering. There is a better way. And it's up to each one of us who realize this to help share the word, spread the word, share the information to other people, because the more people we are able to help wake up, the greater the likelihood that the majority of people who don't know will become less of a majority, and the people who do know will become more of a majority. And now we will then have a chance to develop a better way to live for everybody, all of life on the planet. We might even be able to build a golden age. Ooh, wouldn't that be great? Even though it's prophesied. For the survivors, well, do you want to survive? Do I want to survive? Yes, if we can improve the way we live. So here are a few tips, a few principles that can help us. The first one comes from Buddha. Now, Buddhism is not a religion. Buddhism is a philosophy. They, in all their writings and everything that Buddha said and sprouted to everybody, never one word of God or belief or religion. It was all consciousness, human potential, enlightenment to be all that we are. And he said, please pay attention to this. This is so profound. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Well, everything comes from within. Everything that we are, that we wish to be, that we wish to achieve, originates from deep within each one of us and does not come from outside of us. Even though most people, at least the 80% I mentioned before, seek that which is outside of themselves. They want a leader to lead them to peace and harmony and prosperity. They want artificial intelligence to lead them to peace and harmony. They want everything that is outside of themselves. They're putting their attention on, and they don't put their attention on the inside, which is where it all originates. And I just made a video talking about that. Artificial intelligence versus authentic intelligence. So Buddha says, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. That's the first thing. And here is another one, 6 Buddhist principles that I got off the internet. It's all there if you just take the little trouble to go and look for it. 6 Buddhist principles. Number 1, impermanence, otherwise known as amka. I think that's Sanskrit. Impermanence. Impermanence. It doesn't last. Everything in the physical world is impermanent. That includes our body, our motor car, our house, artificial intelligence. Everything in the physical form is impermanent. And therefore, it's not really real, although everything in creation is real. The issue is it permanent or impermanent? Well, the only thing that is permanent is consciousness, energy, your innate potential, because all this we can take with us when we leave the body. And when we reincarnate, we bring it back with us when we remember. But artificial intelligence, the car, the house, the money, the billions of dollars under the mattress, all that's left behind for other people to fight over. When I was with Maharishi many years ago, I spent quite a long time with the Transcendental Meditation movement. Maharishi gave a lecture on what is real and what is not real. And he said, the only thing that's real is that which does not change. In other words, that which is permanent, that which is fundamental to life, to creation, is that which does not change. And that which does change is obviously impermanent. And he says it's not real. Well, everything under the sun is real, but it's a matter of whether it's permanent or impermanent. So that which is permanent, surely that is worth striving for. More consciousness, more innate potential. That's permanent. All the rest is impermanent. Second point of the 6 Buddhist principles, non-attachment. Unpadana. I think that's Sanskrit also. Non-attachment. When you become attached to any one person, to any one thing, and I'm including all the rage now, the artificial intelligence, the cell phone, and all this. When you become attached to it, it's like a ball and chain around your ankle or 2 ankles. It binds you. It limits you. It limits your perceptual ability. It is much better not to be attached to anything. It doesn't mean to say you don't care. You can care, you can love, you can have compassion, but you're not attached to it. You're able to flow. Then you're free. The more you are attached, the more enslaved you are. Number 3, karma. The term that this particular person who was talking about the 6 principles, I forget the name of this person, Buddhist person, he mentioned moral causation. I like that. Karma is moral causation. Wholesome karma creating positive outcomes. It is the law of action. For every action in the universe, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It is the law of cause and effect. What you think, what you say, what you do creates a ripple in the fabric of creation, in its energy field, and it comes back to us. The Americans say, whatever you put out is what comes back to you. Well, let's put out some goodness. Let's put out some love, compassion. Why don't we do it all the time? Number 4 is mindfulness. Now, so many scholars and spiritual people spiritual scholars have told us to be in the now moment, because the now moment is the only moment of creation. You cannot, and it never has been, that you've created anything in the past or the future, even though past, present, and future are all happening at the same time, which is very confusing, but that's the way it is, I believe, as I understand it. That the creative process occurs right now in the now moment. How do you live in the now moment? A lot of people don't understand how to do that, so they don't bother. Well, mindfulness, you start practicing mindfulness. And it can be as a meditation, or it can be in everything that you're doing. When you're at the kitchen sink peeling a potato, be mindful of it, rather than your mind on 5,000 other things and you cut your finger. When you're in the car, be aware of what you're doing, driving the car, rather than doing other things and having an accident. When you're walking, be aware of how the body is working. Be mindful of the functions of your body as much as you can be. Does your body feel good? Did you just ate something? Does it feel good? Does it not feel good? Are you full? Are you empty? In the stomach, are you hungry? Are you replete? Are you satisfied? You're walking in the country, you feel the wind, you feel the sunshine. Be aware of it. Most people go out in nature with headphones on and they're listening to music. They're not even aware of their surroundings. How can that be mindful? So we are to learn to be mindful. And the more expert we become at mindfulness, the more we're able to live in the now moment, the only moment that is of any value to us. And the last principle is number 6, equanimity. It says here, upekkha. I guess that's Sanskrit too. Equanimity, balance. Balance. I have spent my whole life in balance, and I've just realized now that I did very well, but I wasn't sufficiently imbalanced, and I am now going through a routine of really getting into balance. At my age now, I want to complete my drama, my game of life, and come out being as successful as I can, which has got nothing to do with money or possessions. My success is gauged by how balanced I am, how mindful I am, what kind of karma I have created, how non-attached I am, and how good a person I am. How much loving have I put into the world? Am I loving? Am I compassionate? I'm working on that right now, and I want to share this with you. The more people who adopt these principles, the greater the likelihood that our numbers will swell to be sufficient, critical mass, whatever that may be, in order to help improve the way we live, improve the way we select and elect our leaders. The consciousness of the people is always reflected by the consciousness of the leaders elected. If your leaders are useless, then you can look to yourself for putting that leader there, because your consciousness and all the consciousness of the people is reflected by the leader that the people elected. So before we start going to the polls and electing leaders. Let's improve ourselves so that we can elect much better leaders. And maybe it's time for us to change the format, the system of political system. I actually don't believe that one person should have all that power, prime minister or president, because that one person can be ill, can be mentally unstable, as we're seeing now currently on the planet, without mentioning names. That one person can be corrupted. This is my idea of a system. You divide your country into areas, and most countries have done that. And each area, province, state, canton, have a representative of the people, elected by the people, and that representative represents and works for those people. Goes to the government, you sit round a round table, nobody is higher or lower, everybody's equal, and there are as many representatives as there are states or counties or provinces or cantons, and let's say there's 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 of these representatives, and there is a consensus, maybe 75%, to carry a law or whatever. And when the people have a problem, they resort to their representative. And if the representative is no bloody good, he's fired and you find somebody else. The people have the last word. The people are the government. The people are not meant to be the slaves of the government. They are to be the government and have representatives to represent them, to serve them. This is my idea. I wanted to say much more, but I think this video is already too long. So thank you for joining me on this road less traveled. I've got another video which will talk about Buddhist habits and the 5 hindrances and a few other things. I'll do that in another video. If you feel that I am saying something in these videos that is of value to you, let me know. And if you feel that I'm talking rubbish, equally, let me know. I don't want to talk rubbish to you if you're not interested. If you are interested and want to know more information, get into discussion with me or develop the idea further on the internet. I do this all the time, actually. I have my own experiences and I'm constantly learning and exposing myself to other people's versions of the truth. And then I make my own truth. And my truth really is for people to be empowered. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time.